Please welcome our host for the evening, Miss Sandy Wester.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Denise Rollard Barnes and the Washington Informer newspaper, we welcome you this evening to tonight's 50th anniversary celebration of the Washington Informer. This evening, we are proud to honor the life and legacy of the late Dr. Calvin W. Rollard, who gave so much to this community and to the world. This is also a night to recognize 50 influential trailblazers who were inspired through Dr. Rollard's spirit and vision. But before we move on, how about a nice round of applause for the Glenn Pearson Jazz Band and our Marcus Linda King. Yeah. Welcome. We will have a word of prayer by Kevin McNair, reporter for the Washington Informer and member of Asbury United Methodist Church.
Good evening. In the tradition of the old black church, whenever they prayed, they lined a song. And so, I'm going to do what my people taught me to do back in Detroit, Michigan, on Linwood Avenue, on the west side of Detroit. As you know, you can see I've been moved to Chicago on the south side. So, I had to give my shouts out for my people. When we prayed in my church, the pastor always started like this. Let us pray. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Turn to God, our Father, we come right now thanking you for 50 years. We thank you that you were with Dr. Rollard in the beginning. We thank you that you gave a vision, gave him the abilities, the skills, and the fortuitousness to continue on even in dark moments. We thank you, God, that there were young black boys and young black girls that wanted to write and wanted to take photos and wanted to work in front offices and learn the craft, and most importantly, God, that they wanted to tell the story of black men and women that other folks refused to tell. God, we are grateful to be here this evening because we know we have reached another landmark. Yet, God, there are so many things that must still be done, but we can't do them without you. And so right now, in the name of Jesus, we are calling on the ancestors to come with us, to abide with us, to rest with us, to lead us, to guide us, to lift us up when, Lord, we get tired. And God, we sometimes get tired. But God, you are faithful. And you tell us all we have to do is ask, and it shall be given, to knock, and the door will be open, to seek, and we will find. So God, we're knocking, we're asking, we're seeking for more of your blessings. We ask you to bless this staff, We ask you to bless our publisher, his daughter, who carries on the light and moves forward. We ask you to bless every person here who's come out to help us to celebrate. And yet, Lord, even in our celebration, we know there's much work to be done. There are challenges facing us in cities from Ferguson to right here, right around the corner, God. But because you can do all things but fail, God, we have no doubts that things will get better by and by if we are obedient. So God, we just ask you to give us humble spirits, to make us obedient, to let us hear from the ancestor, Dr. Calvin Rollock, and all those saints that came before him and after him. God, as we continue this evening, we ask that you continue to rain your spirit upon us. Let the angels celebrate, that the heavens open and archangels reign, sing, blow their trumpets in celebration. And as always, God, when we rise from our beds and when we lay ourselves down, we give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise, because God, there's no one like you from heaven to earth. It's in the name of Jesus that I pray this prayer. Amen.
And now, let's get us going. Come on, join me in welcoming the renowned Urban Nation Hip Hop Choir under the direction of Dr. Ricky Payton, Senior Artistic Director.
Dedicate this song to all the 50 influences and certainly to the legendary Dr. Calvin Rollock.
And now, please welcome to the stage the Director of Marketing and Advertising for the Washington Informer, Ron Burke.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Ron Burke with the Washington Informer. While we have Dr. Ricky Payton here, the Urban Nation Choir is under the direction of Dr. Ricky Payton. And have any of y'all seen the TV show America's Got Talent? Anybody seen that? Strike that. Informer Got Talent. Informer Got Talent up in here tonight. Dr. Ricky Payton, y'all give him a round of applause. So 50 years. You see the number up here, 50. That's going to be the theme all through the night, 50. But 50 years ago, or around 50 years ago, I envisioned Dr. Calvin Rolark sitting somewhere, maybe having a cup of coffee, reading through a newspaper, and he's banging on the table. Did anybody here know Dr. Rolark? Yeah. So y'all know, now I will tell you, I never met him in person, but I feel like I know him. But y'all know, and I've heard, Dr. Rolark could get pretty mad, couldn't he? Okay, so I envision him sitting somewhere reading a newspaper and not seeing any positive images of black people in the newspaper. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So he had two sayings. One is, if it is to be, it is up to me, and no one can save us but us. So the Washington Informer was born 50 years ago to show African Americans, black people, Negroes, colored people, whatever we were called back then, in a positive light. Because he felt that if we were going to move forward as a culture, we had to start seeing positive images of ourselves. And all we were seeing at that time in the Civil Rights era was negative images. Negativity breeds negativity, positivity breeds positivity. So the Washington Informer was born 50 years ago as a newspaper to do positive news for and about African Americans, and we do it from our perspective. So today, fast forward 50 years of being an African American owned business, 50 years of being a minority business, 50 years of being a small business, and now 50 years or maybe 30 years of being an African American woman owned business, and 50 years of being a DC business. That deserves a round of applause. And his daughter, Denise Rolark Barnes, who you'll meet later, is here, and she carries the mantle, and we only do positive news about our community. And we do it very effectively. But we can't do it by ourselves, so I'd like at this time to call attention to all the present and former staff of the Washington Informer. If you could all stand, I'd greatly appreciate it. So, Denise, where are you, Denise? Raise your hand, Denise. Okay. So what I want to do now, I want to take executive privilege because I have the mic. I want to take all of these present and former Washington Informer staff members to turn to Denise, she's over there, and give her a tribute to her and to her father. Denise, this is from us to you. Okay, now, so we'll move on. As I said, we couldn't make it 50 years by ourselves. We had to have some help. We had some help with corporate sponsors. And we have signage all around the room. You'll see a video with all their logos. They're too numerous to mention, but I'll just call attention to some of them that I know in the room. PNC Bank, AmeriHealth, MGM, Care First, the building bridges across the arc. But at this time, I want to bring up our title sponsor for this event tonight, and that's Donna Cooper with Pepco.
Thank you very much, Ron. On behalf of Pepco, we are very pleased to be a part of tonight. One of the things that I wanted to note is that we have been a long-term supporter of the Washington Informer. I did a little bit of history check, and our first advertisement appeared in the Washington Informer in 1964, which was 50 years ago. I want to applaud specifically Denise Rollard Barnes. And what I wanted to note is that I'm really in awe of her brilliance, tenacity, and dedication. Because tonight we are honoring an entity that was established by her father. And what is very unique from my perspective is that she has had the tenacity, the diligence, and the focus to continue that legacy. And I think that deserves a round of applause. When we think about what is taking place nationally when it comes to both print as well as broadcast media, this is not an easy business to be in. And one of the realities is this: her father gave a voice and a presence to the African American community at a time when it did not have a voice, but when it definitely needed a voice, and that continues today. Pepco has supported this organization, this entity for some time, and we look forward to that continued partnership. We feel that we as a company are part of the communities in which we serve as well. One of the things that struck me was the readership. This is a publication that goes out weekly. 50,000 individuals receive this publication. And I want you in this audience to continue to definitely support this news organ because it's critical to continuing that voice within our community and also extending it to others. So we feel very pleased to be a part of this tonight, and more importantly, one of the things that's critical to me is that Denise is also looking back. It's about collaboration. It's about looking at others who have also helped to bring things forward. So tonight is about recognizing 50 trailblazers. And I would be remiss if I did not mention Miss Beverly Perry, who is one of those 50 trailblazers. She was, because she retired from Pepco, but not as retired in general, because Beverly does not retire from anything. Beverly ultimately was one of the top African-American females in the utility industry nationally. And she has led the pathway for so many others within our corporation. So I want to recognize her especially on tonight, but she will be recognized later. So thank you for this opportunity to support such a significant event. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you for doing all you do to help keep the lights on for all of us. So, as I said, we started as a newspaper. We're no longer just a newspaper. We're now a multimedia organization. We still have the newspaper. We have our e-blast. Many of you get our weekly e-blast. If you don't get it, I urge you to go to our website and sign up. We have a very, very strong and growing social media network. We have a very, very robust website. And on occasion, we partner with a few TV stations and have a TV show. As a matter of fact, Channel 16, one of our sponsors, is back there filming this whole event tonight, which will be made into some sort of documentary about the Washington Informer 50th anniversary. So at this time, as I said, we couldn't do things by ourselves. You know, we have partners in the private sector, and we call all of our relationships partners. So I believe that we have Jackie Woody sent by County Executive Rushion Baker to give us a proclamation. So Jackie, can you come forward and Denise, I think it's only fitting that you join her to accept this.
Good evening. It is a milestone opportunity for me this evening to represent Prince George's County Executive Rushion Baker III in presenting this proclamation for 50 years of excellence in newspaper publishing and service to our community. Ron already asked me if I was going to read the whole thing, so the answer is no. I will begin, however, with whereas throughout our nation's history, the press has been an important channel for people of color to put forth key issues, tell interesting stories, and address challenging situations. The black press was born in the 19th century to tell the story of the black community, often ignored and disregarded in their voice and through their eyes. The Washington Informer has stayed true to this mission. Whereas every week over the last 50 years, the Washington Informer routinely and respectfully focuses time and attention to the specific local issues, concerns, and news that impact the residents of Prince George's County. And on behalf of County Executive Baker, I also want to just acknowledge the Informer for the excellent coverage you've given to our community. It has been positive and it has been good. So on behalf of the County Executive, to hereby congratulate and thank the Washington Informer on the 23rd day of October, 2014 for 50 years of outstanding service to our community. Further, I encourage all present to continue supporting and utilizing this essential publication to keep abreast of local and regional news. Congratulations and thank you so much.
So we started in Washington, D.C., but I thank you for that, Jackie, and I want you to extend our thanks to our heartfelt thanks to County Executive Rushion Baker. A third of our distribution now goes to Prince George's County because we know that we're no longer just a city, we're a region. Prince George's County is very important to this region, so a third of our distribution does go to Prince George's County. Now, we are turning 50 years. What does 50 mean to anybody in this room? Just shout it out. What does 50 mean? Half a century. If you don't know 50, you don't know art. We have Louis Davis. I guess he's the, Louis, what are you, Chief Executive or Executive Officer of AARP DC? Anyway, he has a special presentation to the Washington Informer. Louis.
Louis Davis, State Director. Thanks for the promotion, Ron. I'm State Director for the District of Columbia, proud to be. We have 89,000 members here in the District of Columbia alone. And we have a long history with the Washington Informer, one we're quite proud of. The Washington Informer has for 50 years been stitching together the patchwork quilt that is Washington, D.C., telling the stories of its inhabitants, those who call it home forever, and those who are passing through, as many do. Denise Barnes is a buddy of mine and a colleague. She was our second state president, one of the youngest in the country. Her mother, Vera Abbott, right here to my left, was last year's Andrews Award winner. It is the most distinguished award we give to volunteers around the country. She was a recipient of that in last year. So we have a long history. AARP works on behalf of those 50 and younger, not older, but 50 plus, who are living the fullest of their lives. And we advocate on their behalf. We create products and services that cater to their needs and aspirations and dreams. So it is very befitting that for an organization of 33 million who represents people 50 plus in the United States of America, that we would be here tonight to say happy birthday, happy anniversary to the Washington Informer and you, Denise.
Lewis, my question is, I'm an AARP card holder, and I know that there's some significant discounts if you have an AARP card. So what kind of discounts can the Washington Informer get with their card? We'll talk about it. Okay, good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another supporter that I have to call attention to. His name is Randall Ely with the Edgar Lomax Company. Randall, where are you? Can you give Randall a round of applause? Early on, when we decided we wanted to give ourselves a party, celebration, whatever, for our 50th anniversary, Randall was one of the first to step up and actually write a check to say, you know, hey, I'm going to support you, spend the money how you will, just whatever you can do for me in the future, that's fine, but we just want to call attention to Randall and say, Randall, we appreciate you. And another thing I want to do, I'm going to go off script for a second. Young man, can you step out here for a second? Turn around and face everybody. I know I'm putting you on the spot. This is a photographer. He's got a press pass. And if we at the Washington Informer understand how hard it is for photographers to do their job. So I'm asking everybody in here, if this young man points his camera at you, please smile and give him a good shot. All right? If they don't, you let me know. Okay? All right. So at this time, we are so blessed to be surrounded by good partners and good relationships. And again, when we started planning this anniversary, we could think of nobody else that we wanted to help lead our anniversary committee than the Honorable Marie Johns. I think she needs no introduction, but we want to give her a round of applause. Marie Johns.
Because we all want to hear from Denise. She's the most important person on the program this evening. But I just want to take my brief time with the microphone to give a few acknowledgments. I want to thank the Washington Informer staff and directors of the foundation for welcoming me into the Washington Informer family over these past several months. It has been a privilege and a joy to work closely with that team on this wonderful occasion. I was fortunate to know Dr. Calvin Rolark, and it's really been a blessing for me to be able to play a small part in honoring his memory with this event and all of the wonderful events that have led to have been part of the 50th anniversary season. And to my sister friend Denise Rolark Barnes, I honor you for your leadership, your passion, and for your respect for the legacy that this newspaper represents. And I also want to say thank you to the loyal readers and contributors to the Washington Informer over the years. And of course, my hearty congratulations go to the 50 outstanding citizens of our region who are going to be recognized a little later tonight. Many of them I'm privileged to call my friend, and all of them I admire. I don't know if any of you are familiar with a wonderful film that Stanley Nelson, fine director, did some years ago about the Black press that was entitled Soldiers Without Swords. And I think that is such an apt title for the Black press and for the Washington Informer. Because truly, these crusaders have meant so much to our community. And when you think about it, 1827, when the Freedom Journal was started, the first black newspaper, and its editors, Reverend Samuel Cornish and John B. Rushmore, had the temerity in that time to say, if we're too long, have others spoken for us. We wish to plead our own cause. So I've asked for you all, in the spirit of the Freedom Journal and in the spirit of Calvin Roloff's memory, just to do something for me. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to extend my right hand. If you're left-handed, do your left hand. We're going to extend our hand to Denise Rollard Barnes to get a salute. Come on, put your hand out in Denise's direction. And we're going to do this in acknowledgement of her leadership and her carrying the torch forward. And we're going to do it in the spirit that we will continue to count on Denise to plead our own cause in this community for the next 50 years and many beyond. Thank you, Denise.
We have a special guest that, well, he was invited, but he told us that he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to come. And the Washington Informer is part of many organizations. AARP is one of those, but several press associations, and one is NNPA, National Newspapers Publishers Association, otherwise known as the Black Press. There's about 187 black newspapers across the country, and there's a newspaper association. Dr. Ben Chavis, I'm sure many of you know that name, Dr. Ben Chavis, is now the executive director of NNPA. And so I want to just bring him to the stage just for a second to give remarks. Dr. Chavis.
On behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, we come tonight to join all of you in saluting the Washington Informer. I knew Dr. Calvin Roloff as a fellow freedom fighter, and certainly the torch has been passed to his daughter, Denise Roloff Barnes. We're here tonight to celebrate 50 years and to rededicate ourselves to the black press. We're here to say to Denise, to Ron, to all of the staff, we love you, we respect you, we support you. But more than that, we're going to make sure that this vital news organ for the nation's capital, the Washington Informer, will have greater sustainability going forward for the next 50 years. Long live the spirit of Dr. Calvin Roloff. Long live the spirit of the Washington Informer.
Thank you, Dr. Chavis. And for those of you who know history, and for those of you who don't, Dr. Chavis was one of the Wilmington 10. And the Washington Informer is another one of our anniversary events. Is going to be showing a screening of the film on the Wilmington 10. Because they were just pardoned earlier this year by the governor of North Carolina. So we're going to show a film at the Rise Center on St. Elizabeth East Campus. And for all of you who get our e-blast, that will be your invitation. So if you don't get our e-blast, you can sign it tonight. Okay. Billy, you can put the slide up now. Newspaper review. If you have it. Don't worry. Okay. So the other piece of the Washington Informer is Washington Informer Charities. We have our board here tonight, and I'd like for our board members to stand up. I see Deborah Body over there. I see Bill Reed. I see Dr. Elizabeth Collins. I see Robin Wilkes. I see Kirby Latham. So Washington Informer Charities is the entity that's putting on this anniversary celebration. It's the entity that does the African American Heritage Tour that we do every Black History Month. It's the entity that does the Washington Informer Spelling Bee, and we'll be celebrating, we'll be putting on the spelling bee for our 33rd year, shown at our NBC4 studios in March. We've done things like we've screened the movie or a book written by Doris McMillan, who was in the audience, Brown Babies, about
children of African American soldiers founded in World War II who were orphans after the war because they fathered these children with European babies in 1944. These white women couldn't keep these black babies when the soldiers came back home. So Doris wrote a book called Brown Babies, and we screened that movie. We also have done things, a conversation with Congressman John Lewis, we call him civil rights icon John Lewis. And we just did a celebration with, a conversation with Marion Barry to help launch his book here a little bit later. So we want you to support Washington Informed charities. There's many ways you can do that. You can obviously, donate money, you can donate time. But we're going to talk about that just a little bit later. And, okay, you ready? Okay, so now we have a video that has been prepared for you, so we want you to just sit back and enjoy. Is everybody having a good time so far? I think back to the Urban Nation Choir. They sang 2 songs. One was Celebrate, so this is the celebration, and the other song was Hero. So I think this video is going to have something about some heroes and sheroes that we all know.
For 50 years, the Washington Informer has been the eyes and ears of Washington, D.C., with a bird's-eye view on iconic events as they happen, and spreading the good news in order to educate, empower, and inform our community.
My father, Dr. Calvin W. Roller, founder of the Washington Informer, was a passionate man of the people, a watchdog who kept African Americans abreast of the politics that were impacting their lives. He believed that a good education was the cornerstone to success, and that it was up to us to uplift our community. Dad lived by the philosophy, if it is to be, it's up to me. And he embodied this truth by helping others realize that they could chart their own course.
The Washington Informer is significant in the entire Washington metro area because most mainstream newspapers don't handle the stories that we do. We are on the ground, we care about our readers, we are interested and committed to ensuring that our readers get the best stories, not just negative stories, but stories that talk about people who are doing things in the community, about issues that are ignored by mainstream newspapers. So we are the creme de la creme for the Black community in Washington metro area.
The Washington Informer now reaches over 50,000 readers weekly through our award-winning newspaper print edition. We average 50,000 sessions weekly through our award-winning website and 7,500 subscribers through our weekly email newsletter. We continue to educate, inform, and inspire not only through the delivery of important news to our community, but also by sponsoring and hosting signature events, such as a conversation with John Lewis. The event brought together several hundred people at the Ark in Southeast. The Congressman sat down for a 90-minute conversation with publisher Denise Rollard Barnes about the philosophy, discipline, and principles of nonviolence and its importance in America's daily discourse. The Washington Informer began sponsoring the City Spelling Bee during the 1981-82 school year. The event encourages literacy and highlights some of the city's brightest students.
Hi, I'm Don Monroe, and Ms. Rollard and Washington Informer Charities have helped me fulfill my dream of going to the Scripps National Spelling Bee, not once, but twice. I love words, and this competition has helped me build my confidence, and now I know that dreams will come true, thanks to the Washington Informer.
The Washington Informer's annual African American Heritage Tour takes hundreds of readers, including women, men, and children, on a journey to discover the history of their ancestors right in their own backyards. In 2011, WI publisher Denise Rollard Barnes started the tour to help local residents and others experience the unique culture of Washington, Maryland, and Northern Virginia. Over 200 people took advantage of the Washington Informer's opportunity to get out, be informed, and inspired. This year we explored Alexandria, Virginia, a city with an abundance of history. Slavery played a major role in Alexandria's history, as Alexandria was the second largest slave-selling city in the nation after New Orleans, as reported by Washington Informer's own Margaret Summers. One of the most eye-opening parts of the tour was our visit to Freedom House. In the interactive museum, you can feel the chains that once shackled slaves passing through the house. The Washington Informer hosted a conversation with legendary D.C. Mayor Marion Barry.
After my book, we pulled our newspaper clips and we stacked up this side on the table. I didn't realize they ain't that much press, that whole thing. But I had this philosophy. As long as the liar that I own tells the story, he'll always be king of the jungle. And so I'm telling my story.
Denise Rollard Barnes and the Washington Informer provided a platform for the former mayor to share his life experiences with the public earlier this year. What did you find most interesting? Did you learn anything new tonight?
Well, I didn't know a whole lot about his childhood, so it was quite interesting to see that he started out in the South as a cotton picker and processor, and just his determination. I didn't know he sat at the counter, and so that brought joy to my heart that he was that far back as a pioneer, and I'm just really blessed by the entire story and how he worked with Martin Luther King. I love the paper. I love the fact that it gives a pure sense of African American history, knowledge, future, and it's told by African Americans. Happy 50th anniversary Informer, and please keep up the great work. Thank you.
We'll continue to do our part by providing readers with stories that impact their lives and inspiring them to get involved and to pay attention to issues within their community. But we'll need your help. Right now, take out your cell phones, please. Snap a photo or take a selfie and let your network know right now on social media where you are and why you're here. In honor of the Washington Informer's 50th anniversary, this award-winning African-American newspaper is honoring 50 of Washington's top influencers. Please remember to use the hashtag WashingtonInformer50. Now share your photos on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and if you're not already connected with us on social media, take a moment to do so, please. The Washington Informer is looking forward to bringing you the news that matters for 50 more years. We ask that you support this mission by continuing to pick up our newspapers on newsstands every Thursday and also by logging on to our website daily. www.washingtoninformer.com is filled with fresh news articles, photo galleries, and videos. Thank you all for being here and supporting the Washington Informer, our 50 influencers, and our 50th anniversary. Please continue to share this event online using the hashtag WashingtonInformer50.
Wasn't that a great video? And direct your applause to the young lady over here behind the camera, Chanel Spivey. She is our Washington Party video. So now you see a list of all of our sponsors and supporters, but for those of you who came in and didn't get a chance to go into the, what they call it, the map room, and see how many of you did not see our photo exhibit? Has everybody seen the photo exhibit? Make sure that when this program is over, you go into the map room, it's right down this hall, and look at the photo exhibit. There's a woman named Julian Kinganda, who's the curator. She also did the Freedom House in Alexandria. But make sure you go in there and look at the photo exhibit. And the title sponsor for that photo exhibit was Wells Fargo. And I think Wells Fargo was in the house tonight. Can you give them a round of applause? So the only other thing I want to say about this 50 years, this is also about legacy. There's a couple other legacy businesses, African-American owned businesses in the room tonight. One is B. Doyle Mitchell and Industrial Bank. Doyle, where are you? The lights are in my eyes. So anyway, let's give a round of applause for B. Doyle Mitchell. And also, Lee's Flowers and Cards, right there on U Street, who did all the floral arrangements. And thank Bill Lee and Stacy Lee, and so give them a round of applause. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody for coming once again, and we're going to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Coming to us at this time are students from the Richard Wright Charter School in Washington, D.C., under the direction of Ms. Helen Harris Compton. They will be performing their very own original poetry in honor of Dr. Rollard. Please give them a warm welcome as they come.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Gates, and my poem is titled Change, Justice, and Equity. Why don't people speak out? Why aren't people proud of who they are? My people aren't second-class citizens. Dr. Roloff understood this. Justice and equity was the root of all things. Wondering why certain people weren't seen on the magazines because negativity was put into the stream of thoughts people had about black people. Graduating high school at 15 would never make it into the mainstream. But if he was arrested at 15, it would be everywhere because of negativity. Speaking of negativity, why is there such a big gap between rich and poor in D.C.? The poor are fighting to survive, and the rich are so rich that they act untouchable. So why do the poor have to feel like their whole life is meant for being tampered with and having obstacles thrown at them to distract them? While in your backyard, gentrification is happening. So I guess it's time to get to know your DC and read while you're at it. Not just read, open your mind up to black media and other things. If you want this image portraying black people to go away, you must be that change. Dr. Roloff said, if it is to be, it is up to me. I'll say it one more time. If it is to be, it is up to me. So will you create your own path or go down the path they made for you?
Hi, my name is Kiera Seth. The name of my poem is Inspiration. Dr. Calvin Roloff in one word is inspired. The status of his newspaper is still rising. The Washington Informer is helping shape me into the thriving adult I know I can be. The legacy of the Informer is encouraging to young children like me becoming the entrepreneurs we know we can be. So as Dr. Roloff said, if it is to be, it's up to me.
Doctor, ooh, he's so smart. Diploma at 15, just enough to get his name on the big screen. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it's up to me, it is to be. Doctor. Doors are open for young minds to stay focused. Justice for Trayvon, live for Mike Brown. No chasing me. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it's up to me, it is to be. Doctor. Dream for young people to succeed by any means. Dr. Roloff lives through me. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it's up to me, it is to be. Doctor.
If it is to be, it's up to me. And like I said previously, a lot of this celebration is about legacy. And Denise's father started the paper. He handed it down to Denise. I don't think she's ready to hand it down just yet, but she has two sons who are working with us in different capacities, and that's Lafayette and Desmond Barnes. And I like to present them to everybody. Lafayette and Desmond.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lafayette Barnes. This is my brother. My name is Desmond Barnes, and this is my brother. I must say, we are truly blessed to have grown up in the Washington Informer community. We are truly blessed to grow up in this Washington community and also be a part of the Washington Informer newspaper. Our grandfather, he had a theme which has been repeated tonight. If it is to be, it is up to me. And this theme has been carried forward by our mother, Denise Barnes, and the rest of the Washington Informer staff. That's exactly true, and that's what I was supposed to say. So I'm looking to see what he was supposed to say. Anyways, thank you for the Washington Informer for carrying forward this motto on life. If it is to be, it's up to me. We've seen it firsthand with the entire staff, with seeing our mother in a role where she has to be a boss. I've learned a lot as well. Here, say something else. And we believe that the Washington Informer has carried this motto, if it is to be, it's up to me, into the 21st century with our award-winning website, which you saw in the video, and also the unrelenting role in the community and the focus on the community. Without further ado, we would like to introduce someone who's very special to the both of us. Her name is Denise Barnes, but we call her Mom.
Thank you all so very much. My sons really hoped that they wouldn't have to follow the same path that I followed into the doors of the Washington Informer. I don't know if you all got a chance to see my first check over there. My father was a big-time spender. I worked 7 days and 7 nights for that $15. And I was told I had to put some money in the bank. I think it was National Bank of Washington at that time. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. This is putting this whole thing together, and a lot of the things that my father used to say, just sort of rang out in my mind as we determined who was going to come, how we were going to put this list together, what would happen if people showed up that knew they were supposed to be invited but didn't get the invitation. My daddy would have said, look, just invite Lottie-Dottie and everybody. Just have them all come over. And that's what we've done. So we're really excited about that. I want to thank the sponsors who helped to make this evening such a wonderful evening. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to have done it. All of you all who read The Informer on a weekly basis, you all don't know what it's like for us on a Thursday. Every Thursday, we look at that number of newspapers that we put out on the street. We look at the number that come back. We're counting, we're wondering why, if it's even 5, why did those 5 newspapers come back? We look at our website, we look at our Facebook pages, we look at our email blast, how many people opened it, why they didn't open it, what we should have put on the cover, what we need to do to make sure that people will click through. All of those things are very important. We're in a really weird space right now where advertisers want answers to those questions, and we know that the people in this room are doing that. So give yourselves a round of applause for supporting us, and I'm going to thank you for inviting me. I want to say that this evening is extremely, extremely special to me, and I didn't know if I really wanted to talk about this, but I have to. This evening, 20 years ago, my brother and my stepmother and I were in Howard University Hospital. And we were standing in the intensive care unit, hoping that my father was going to make it through. He'd only been sick for 3 weeks. And they never could figure out what was wrong until after he passed. And my brother and I, being as silly as we are, we went and got a bottle of wine, sat down next to my dad, and we're having a conversation and just, hoping everything's going to be all right. And around 10:30 on October 23rd, I went home. And as soon as I walked in the door, my brother called and said, Dad's gone. That was 20 years ago today. So, this evening is extremely special because I know he's in this place right now. And he is out there talking about G-Wiz, Chief, how you been doing? And baby doll, look at those eyes, and woo, look at those legs, and Denny, why you got them shoes on? But he would be having a good time, and he would be so, so happy that you all are here. It's been 50 years, and I've been with the Informer for 50 years. So I used to tell folks when summertime, when all the folks were going out to get their summer job, my father said, you can't go get in that line. You have a job. And actually, our newspaper started right at 715 G Street, Northwest. And my playground was downtown Washington. And every day I would go up and down 7th Street, from 7th and G down to 7th and Pennsylvania, where Riggs Bank was. That was my job, to make the bank deposits. And that job used to take me at least about 2 or 3 hours, because I knew every single store clerk on 7th Street. From cans to Hex to, somebody said something else, who else? Landsbergs, Shoe World, oh, okay. Because all the kids used to work downtown in the summertime, and so I used to drop into all those stores and Mike's Delicatessen and all the places on 7th Street. So the city's changed, but this evening just gives us an opportunity to really celebrate ourselves. You know, Washington is not the same place, but we are the same people. And everybody has done something in this room to make sure that Washington is the great place that it is. And we love what you're doing, because without your stories, we wouldn't have a newspaper. Because my dad said from the very beginning, we're only going to print positive news, Denny. I grew up in Texarkana, Texas. I saw black men hung. I was in the military. I know what happens to us. I used to read those newspapers. When I started my newspaper, our newspaper is only going to print about what the 95% of our community is doing. Let those other newspapers talk about the 5%. So, when we decided that we were going to honor 50 influencers, that was really tough. And so we put a call out to the community and said, we want you to nominate some folks. We already knew, we had some ideas about who we wanted some of those people to be. And we wanted to be a good cross-section of folks. Folks that we write about. And a lot of these folks don't end up in the daily newspaper. I'm like the football team. I call it the home team, and I call it the daily. You don't know what I mean. But they don't end up, their stories are not in those newspapers. And so, but they're doing wonderful things, and they impact and influence the lives of so many people. So I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to tell you, we didn't do this right. We didn't do it the best way. We just did it the way we could. And that is to come up and let you all know at the last minute. I'm going to tell you, I have to confess, it was the last minute, but so many of our influencers are here. And I'm going to just read the list. But as I go through the list, I would like those influencers who are here, who can make it up on the stage, and if you come to the front of the stage, I'd like for everybody to give you a round of applause. Now let me just say this. We're not going to, of course, everybody spoke, we'd be here all night long. You don't want to do that. But we want you to know that if you follow the Washington Informer and follow our website, over the next year, you're going to see an interview, a profile, photos of our influencers. We want to document their history. Anyway, that's what we plan to do. So I'm going to start at the top of the list, and as the influencers, as I get to your name, please come to stage. Dorothy Bailey, Johnny Barnes, Esai Barnwell. Of course, Chuck Brown's not here, but Chuck's in the house. Rose Brown. For those who don't know Roach, I just want to say that when it comes to the returning citizen community, Roach has been out there in the forefront, starting with Inner Voices. You all may remember Inner Voices. And now he has one of the most dynamic radio shows dealing with issues impacting returning citizens that I've ever heard, and I'm really proud of Roach Brown. Dr. Clyde Callender, Mr. Benjamin Clark, Mr. Ron Clark, founder of Gap Incorporated. Ron knew very early about the need to deal with people who were having addictions to drugs, and he felt as though we could address drug addiction without using drugs. And so Ron has been doing a wonderful job with RAP Incorporated, and we're so honored that you could be here with us tonight. Ron Clark. Mr. Joseph Daniel Clipper, who is the photographer. I don't know if you all know Mr. Clipper, but you'll learn more about him when you see him on the website. Ms. Marty Cooper. Is Marty here? Marty just retired from the Greater Washington Urban League. She had a retirement party and she couldn't even handle it in this room. Hundreds came out. Marty, thank you so much for what you've done for the community. And we really appreciate you. And her predecessor, your successor, has really big footsteps to follow. Ms. Sylvia Cyrus. Dr. Carnegie Library would be extremely proud for what Sylvia Cyrus is doing with the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. She is keeping Black history alive, and she is sweating and toiling through it, and we want to thank her for doing it so passionately. Ms. Sylvia Cyrus. Mr. Melvin Deal, you all know Melvin, I'm sure he's here this evening. African Heritage Dancers and Drummers. Mr. Bernard Demchek. They used to call Bill Clinton the first Black president. This is the first brother I've ever met in Washington, D.C. Bernard Demchek. And while our young students are not learning Black history, Bernard is making sure that they are learning it at the School Without Walls. He is a walking encyclopedia of African American history and a great community supporter. Oh, Ron May wanted me to say also that Bernard uses the Washington Informer in his classes, and we really appreciate that, Bernard. Mayor William Ewell. Mayor of Alexandria, Mr. Ewell here. Mayor Ewell. He said he was going to try to make it. First Black woman, first African American woman to be a White House photographer. Ms. Sharon Farmer, photographer. Sharon was very gracious to be in our photographers conversation. We're going to do that again because you all need to hear the stories of these photographers and how they really fight to make sure that our images are maintained. Now, I talked to somebody in the office the other day. I was telling her, call your mama. Your mama would know who Bobby Felder is. How many of you all know who Bobby Felder is? My mother knows who Bobby Felder is. don't think Mr. Felder's here this evening. I don't know if we were able to reach him, but you know, he got, I think he was pre-Chuck. You know what I'm saying? He had them slipping and sliding, and I love Bobby Felder. He played music and with the cabaret scene in Washington, so we praise him. Mr. Melfoot, Mel's here, not here this evening, but he is with the constituency for Africa, and has made sure that we keep focus on Africa, not just about sickness and disease, but about what's happening in Africa. That's positive. Mr. Sam Ford, WJLA TV Channel 7. Big Peggy was here. I should have done it for Sam and Peggy because Peggy's this camera woman. Sam has made a home in Ward 8. And so while we do our part, Sam is making sure he does his part to tell good stories, not all the bad stories about what's happening east of the river. We're very proud of him. Person who struggled, but we were the murder capital of the world. It was in his hands to try to protect this city. And I don't know how many times we've been able to say thank you to former Chief Isaac Fullwood, but we're going to say it right now. Chief Isaac Fullwood. I'm going to try to move a little faster, you all. I'm sorry. But there's Mr. C.R. Gibbs, also historian, Mr. Darrell Green, who has the Darrell Green Youth Life Foundation, Eloise Greenfield, who's done a wonderful job of telling children's stories. Is Eloise here? Oh, she's here. I didn't even know she was Eloise Greenfield, who and her graphic artist who did wonderful, wonderful children's books. And hopefully you all, if your children or grandchildren, hopefully they're reading wonderful books. Every household that has children should have books written by Eloise Greenfield. We want to thank you so very much. Native Washingtonian, grew up in Northeast. When I see this person periodically, we sort of connect because she lost her dad tragically, but she hasn't stopped going, and that's Michelle Higgins of Fort Lincoln, Newtown. Michelle is the developer. I want to thank her. Michelle said she couldn't get this evening. Oh, is Michelle here? Where? Oh! Yes, if I had sort of walked through the crowd, let's give Michelle a really big round of applause. So next time, when I say Costco, y'all should say Higgins. Costco. Higgins. Costco. Higgins. Give her a round of applause. She worked really long and hard to make sure that it happened, and she hadn't stopped. She's still developing Fort Lincoln. Ms. Hannah Hawkins, you all know Hannah, children of mine. Mr. Donald Kentz. Mr. Kentz here. Friendship Public Charter School. Now, we working with Richard Wright, but Friendship Public Charter School, I think now has about, how many do you have? 4,000 students? 4,000 students, charter schools, fantastic. Yeah. 2 schools in Southeast, 3 schools in Southeast. So we really celebrate him for working with our children. Anise Jenkins came in. She said, I didn't know I was an influencer. Where's Anise Jenkins? Is she still here? D.C. Vote. Champion for voting rights in the District of Columbia. We see her out there in the street. She's been arrested so many different times, but she's not giving up the fight. Free D.C. Anise, all right. Mr. Harry Johnson. Is Mr. Johnson here? Mr. Harry Johnson? Okay, Mr. Johnson. Well, you know, when I say Harry Johnson, you think of Martin Luther King Memorial. If that has influenced a whole generation of folks, for the fight that he went through to make sure that that memorial was there, the Martin Luther King Memorial Foundation, we want to celebrate Mr. Harry Johnson. Mr. Edwin Jones. Reverend Edwin Jones. Is Mr. Jones still here? Oh, there's Mr. Jones. Reverend Edwin Jones, who was nominated. Reverend Jones is making that Woodlawn Cemetery is maintained. And so all the work that he's doing in the community, we're really glad to have Reverend Jones. And this Miss Teresa Jones. Don't think she could get here this evening, ANC Commissioner, but was very, very, very active in the home rule, the fight for home rule for the District of Columbia. Ms. Lori Kaplan. Is Lori here? There she is, Lori Kaplan. You all know when my dad started United Black Fund, and even before that, we don't talk about it enough in this city, the connection between the African American and Latino community. But we have a strong alliance, and we need to build on that alliance. And Lori, with the Latin American Youth Center, all the work that she's done on behalf of that community that benefits all young people in the area, up in that area, I want to thank Lori Kaplan for being here this evening. Tony Lewis, FAME, Foundation for thank you, Foundation for the Advancement of Music and Education. Tony teaches young people about music. She provides the instruments. I mean, she does so much and does an event every year. And you know, we know that music is very important in the development of our children, and she does it passionately. Mr. Joe Madison, Black Eagle. Joe's going to speak to us in a minute on behalf of all the influencers, but I have to say, because he may not, it was the funniest thing. The first time I met Joe Madison, you want to tell the story? Okay, I'll let him tell it. He'll probably tell it better than me. And I thought, you know, we'd be enemies for it, because, you know, I thought, you know, what is the cat clashies and whatever. I said, oh, I'm never going to know this man, but I love him dearly, I really do. And I so respect what he's done. And I respected him then, but you got to tell that story. Now, we used the wrong name, but we called her the name that we're not supposed to be calling her, because we know her affectionately as Justine Love. Is Justine in the house? Where's Justine? Here she is. You know, what can you say about Justine? You talk about AIDS, you talk about any issue that impacts Washington. Justine is on the radio. She is telling everybody what we ought to do. She's talking to young folks. Justine Love. Love her. Attorney Johnny Mercer, Board of Directors of Rap Incorporated. Johnny's been working really hard in the music industry and legal industry. I mean, doing the butt. But thank you, that's right. Johnny Mercer, we're so glad to have him. 80 years. We're celebrating 50. 80 years. Industrial Bank. B. Doyle Mitchell and Patricia. Is Doyle still here? B. Doyle Mitchell. Yes, indeed. When I look back all over the old newspapers and I saw how my dad and Doyle's grandfather were really close, and it was about time that Doyle and I became partners. And so the Washington Former Charities account is at Industrial Bank. That's the one with the most money in it. The one with the informer doesn't have a lot of money in it. Hint. But when the informer makes more money than Doyle, we got another account coming your way. But 80 years, that's amazing. It's amazing. And he and his sister, Patricia here? She's Jesset, okay, his sister, we're doing it together. Bobby Mitchell, first first African American on the home team. Yes, Bobby Mitchell. Broke records. We want to acknowledge Bobby Mitchell. Our very own beloved Askia Muhammad. Where's Askia? WPFW. Final Call, columnist for the Washington Informer, and just an all-around activist in so many different ways. Askia, you still riding your bike? And riding his bike. He was doing it before there were bike lanes. Thank you, Askia. Kojo Namdi, I think Kojo could be here this evening. Is Kojo here? No, I don't think he could be here, but let's give Kojo a round of applause. Attorney Jack Ollinger, who has, is just the lawyer's lawyer, has been supportive of the Washington Informer for many years. Pretty soon the whole room's going to be on the stage, so, but we want to honor him as well. Angela said, you all don't need to honor me, but Angela worked for my dad at the Washington Informer before, or was it before you went to Channel 4? Before she went to Channel 4. We remember Angela Owens at Channel 4. Angela, please come forward. The wife of Ron Clark, Angela Owens Clark. Thank you. Seniors in the city did fairly well, at no other time under this woman's leadership, and that is Miss E. Veronica Pace. I don't think she's here this evening, but let's give her a round of applause as well. That the D.C. Office on Aging, and was passionate about it. Now this next honoree is my neighbor. He is my friend. He is the hardest working man east of the river. The hardest working man. Can't get elected, but I told him, I said, you gotta understand, my daddy said, if my dad ran for the school board, I don't know if you all know that, he had a penny campaign. While these people, he raised pennies. And he went down Board of Elections and dumped all these pennies on the counter and said, okay, I'm a candidate. Of course, with pennies he lost, but that's okay. Because he said, when I want to tell people where to go, I don't want no office to keep me, and he would tell you where to go. You know that. But this is another person who's the hardest working man east of the river, and I'm so honored to acknowledge him, Mr. Philip Fennell. I did it. Okay, I'm gonna go right back. I saw a video, I found a video, I was online today and I found these videos, and it was a video of my father who was giving a presentation to Bill Cosby, and he was giving a speech. Somebody says, is he a preacher? No, but he was just giving his speech. And he was talking about how kids don't read the Bible, they don't go to church, they don't know the 10 Commandments, they don't even know how to pray. Well, I know one young man who is making sure that all of that happens. And he's an advocate, and he is serious about the Lord and bringing young people to the Lord. You got to check out one of his church services, Reverend Tony Lee. Reverend Tony Lee. Yes. All right, Reverend Tony Lee. Doyle's telling me they get down in there. And they do. I love the service. I went to a service once. It was he and his brother and your mother. All of them. Yeah, I was like, okay, it's family in this church. Is his mother? I'm sorry. It's the family's here, I think. But he told me, yeah, my mama's coming, the church is coming by. There she is back there. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Lee, for all you've done. Let's see, who else that I'm missing? Urban Nation. Ricky Payton, where's Ricky? One of our honorees. I want to thank Ricky so much because for the production, all the work he's doing here. But the main thing about Ricky is that he's been working with young people and teaching them, getting them prepared. He's the one that's been working with these students with their poetry. He is the one that's helped them to develop. He goes to that school and he says, no, that's not going to work. Speak up, young man, speak up, enunciate. He cuts them no slack. Really thank you. We talked about Beverly Perry. I'm so glad that Donna gave us, talked about Beverly. And I don't think she's here this evening. Is she? Wow, I was told we were only going to have 8 people here. Yeah, and we had actually ordered a smaller stage, and yesterday we decided, no, let's make it a little bit bigger because the kids are going to need some place to something, but it looks like, okay, I told you everybody's going to be up here in a minute. Mr. Ray Savoy. I don't know how many of you all know Ray Savoy, but if you go over to Langston Golf Course, Mr. Savoy's daughter is here with us. Ray Savoy is teaching young people how to play golf. He is what I call the ambassador at Langston Golf Course, and he's probably working tonight. He teaches golf and plays golf during the day, and then he's working at night, and so I'm glad that he's his daughter to be with us. These two young men that you met earlier, my two sons, believe it or not, well, one you know eventually because he's still in the recording industry. The other one has stopped singing, but they used to sing. And they sang because there's a woman who created what Harlem had in D.C., she created it here. She has not given up. She needs support, and I just want to say thank you because I meet her proteges, the young men that she's worked with all across the city. I meet them in a lot of different places. They're grown now, but she's still working with them, and that's Miss Eleanor Stewart, who is the founder of the D.C. Boys Choir. And you know, we need that. We need to get back to some of these things that we used to do, because we had community then. It was really great. So we knew that she wants to take the kids to China and a lot of different things. Italy. This year, okay. So we're going to help you to get there. Mr. Sterling Tucker. Mr. Tucker said he couldn't be here this evening, but you all know that next week we'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Home Rule in the District of Columbia. If you haven't gotten any notice, you'll get it through the Washington Informer. And Mr. Tucker is still out there fighting, and I'm really proud of him. Mr. Darrell Watson, Baloo Senior High School Marching Band. Woo! I'm not sure if Mr. Watson was there at the time, but when my dad passed, Baloo's band came to the front of our office and played. And Mr. Watson has been a supporter of the Washington Informer. This whole community has supported Baloo because of what he's doing. He's getting ready to get a new band room, I understand, and the new Baloo is about to open up pretty soon. Thanks to them, the Baloo Band is going to Hollywood, and I'm telling you, he makes a difference in that community with the Baloo Band. And of course, the last honoree that we're going to mention this evening, he's not with us, but he's back with us, and that's Mr. Doug Williams, took us to the Super Bowl. Yay! I think we're going to have to get him out of that office and suit him up and put him back on the field again. I think that's what we need to do. So I'm going to... Did I jump over some things? One of our very own, Mr. Roy Lewis, also. Mr. Roy Lewis. I'm not going to say what he said last time, that's all right. Roy has photographs, and I'm not trying to talk about his age, because he looks good for his age, I'm going to tell you. You all know that. But Roy has great photographs that he shot of Martin Luther King in Chicago. I mean, he's been shooting people for a long time. And so we're everywhere with Roy Lewis. Bonnie has something? Oh, Mr. Cooper says she's coming. Yay! Yay! Come on! Come on! So as she makes her way to the stage, I did ask one person who would be willing to speak on behalf of this group, who would reflect on Dr. Rolark, and he said that he was going to save that story that I was going to tell to the end. So, Joe Madison, it's yours.
Everybody at this point, would you please stand? If it is to be, let's make it so Calvin can hear it. If it is to be, it's. If it is to be, it's. Give all 50 of these folk a round of applause. do what the president does. Please be seated. As you were, yeah, as you were. There was only one caveat that I was given to make these brief remarks, and that was to make sure that y'all were out of here before Scandal came on. Because I knew it was going to happen around 10 o'clock. So, oh, now it's 9 o'clock, and I have to get away with it. What's it now? Hell, I get up at 3:30 in the morning. 9 o'clock, I'm dead. Y'all have to tell me in the morning. Let me tell you, this is family. I mean, I think we all just should recognize this is really family. Your family. And Calvin is the father of all of this. Let's put it in proper perspective. And let me tell you, when I first met Daddy Rollard, true story. I had been in Washington about a hot minute and was on the air at WRC, the only brother out there. And I was told, I don't even know who invited me, said there's a bunch of black journalist types, media types, that are going to be meeting at, of all the places, the Iranian embassy, after they had gotten kicked out of the United States. And so Calvin took the side of the Iranians and was going to bring the black community together to support and stop the Iranians from being moved out. And I show up. Calvin looks at me and says, "What the hell are you doing here? You're not part of the black media, and who are you?" And I looked at Calvin and, "Who the hell are you?" And we looked at each other, and Calvin said, "You know, I like this boy. He's going to be all right." That was my first time meeting Calvin Rowe. I mean, he really jumped me. And I had to jump back. He jumped back, and I jumped back, and we just got tired of jumping at each other. And he has come. Yeah, he let me in the room. Yeah. And then it was like friendship from that moment on. But one thing I think we can all say about Calvin Rowe, he didn't play with you. If he respected you, that respect lasted a lifetime. And I think all these 50 people up here, he would approve that list. Because you obviously are, when I look at Denise, I swear, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she keeps a skier, and we can all agree and disagree, but we're still family, just like brothers and sisters. And I just wanted to say, look, thank you. I mean, you get on a lot of lists, but this list is the most important list because it comes from the heart of Calvin Rollard, because I know whose heart he will always be part of, and that this is this lady standing behind me. And so I say thank you. It's kind of dangerous to invite a person to speak who spends 4 hours every morning talking. And I'm going to wrap this up because it's getting real close to that time. But God bless all of you. God bless these people. And I can tell you, I know one thing. They are in it to the end. Are you in it to the end? You're in it to the end. God bless you. God bless the Informer. Support the Informer. And for the sponsors out here, don't undervalue, don't underestimate, and do not marginalize the black press. You need us. As a matter of fact, you really need us now. God bless all of you.
Yeah, we're going to thank you so very much, and we have just tokens that we want to make sure that you all get. I think they're trying to pull that together now. So thank you very much. If it is to be, if it is to be, say it like you mean it. If it is to be, all right. Thank you. I'm going to move off the stage because we still got a little bit more to go. Before I do, because I have to go home tonight, I want to, with two people. My husband, Lafayette Barnes, I want to acknowledge Lafayette, who knows how difficult this road has been, and my mother, Gary Abbott, who is very appreciative. All right, thank you very much.
Wasn't that a great presentation? It didn't my boss look good? So I wanted to call your attention to something else. You know, we just keep coming up with these surprises. When you guys came in, did you happen to see that white Buick outside? GM is one of our sponsors, and GM donated that car to Washington Farmer Charities, and it's on display right now. So just make sure that you lay eyes on it when you go out. You know, drop GM a note through Facebook or Twitter and say thank you. And I'm told that the mayor is coming in, so as we have our influencers leave the stage, we'll have the mayor come up. Excuse me, I have a couple more things I need to say. Isn't this a lovely venue, the Carnegie Library? There's a man walking right there. His name is Greg Odell. This is his house. Wave to everybody, Greg. Also, I believe we skipped over one name. She is not here, but I want a round of applause for Aisha Karima. Aisha Karima is another one of our 50 influencers. Also, while we have a moment, while we're waiting for the mayor, I wanted to again call your attention to Washington and former charities. Another one of our sponsors is Southwest Airlines. And Southwest has given us some ticket vouchers for $100. I have 8 ticket vouchers, each worth $100. And anybody that donates, well, the first 8 people that donate $100 to Washington and former charities will get your money back in the form of a $100 gift certificate from Southwest Airlines. So I'm going to ask anybody who wants to donate to see Gail Reed of our board. She's over here. Gail, come on up to the front, please.
I would like to direct your attention to the stairway up here. We have 3 more of the Richard Wright students that would like to give their own poetry to you. Give your attention to the Richard Wright students. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Princess Sin, and the name of my poem is Legacy. Legacy is where I stand. My legacy is in my hands. Dr. Roloff was able to lead such. Graduated at 15. For me, is too much. Never say never. And don't say don't. Because if you keep believing that, then you won't. Give that pen and pencil to me. Allow me to rewrite history. No one creates my life for me, because this is my legacy. Put your best foot forward. Look up and onward. At first, it was hard to see, but if it is to be, then it is up to me.
Good evening, my name is William Murray, and the name of my poem is Legacy. In the words of the late Dr. Calvin W. Roloff, if it is to be, then it's up to me. But why? Why is it up to me? I thought I was good for nothing. Nothing but killing and drug dealing. At least that's what I was told growing up in the streets of Southeast, where bodies upon bodies can be found in the streets. Then Killer Man recorded on a killer cam, really when they been a fan, but you gotta understand that this city is Afghanistan. Can I get an amen? Amen. So let me tell you something. I refuse to be average. I hate average. So you know what? It is up to me. It's up to me to make a difference in the cataclysmic behavior inside and out of this nation. It's up to me. It's up to me to guarantee that in my future, children won't walk these streets saying failure is me. It's up to me. It's up to me to see the tears shed when this pen spreads. The long stop is the heart drops. My legacy will penetrate as this world disintegrates. In the words of the late Dr. Calvin W. Roloff, if it is to be, then it is up to me. Thank you.
From every state and every city, we were able to feel the day when all of those children, black men, white men, Jews and Gentiles, Muslims and Catholics, were able to join hands and sing the words of their own Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God.
I have a dream. Listen. Just go real quick. Come on, right? In 1977, the generation was born under the grace of God. Only one man born. He came for the heart. The son of God had a brainstorm. Change life so many people that it wasn't made to him. I can't come to you like it wasn't meant to be. Like he wasn't meant to see the power in you and me. Who am I talking about? Ask me. Listen. already. I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream. Listen, listen. Stand with the best, represent the rest. I told the press, never give up on your best. Listen, you were meant to rap like we're eventually obsessed. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of living inside my color. Saying I can't feel right like no other. Y'all think I was showing something different. You were destined to be with a legend. And give this world a blessing. And trust me, that's an inspirational legend. I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream. Listen, listen. Give me a second to repeat myself. My words are my powers, they give me much wealth. I treat my words like trophies, I put them on the shelf. As I take into your mind when I walk yourself. Birds out you from the heaven, just spend your money and time. It's 7-11, you need to sleep up to the breast. And represent the rest. And then no one else will treat you like a pest. I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream. Listen. Let me till I die. And my words will be working in the sky. Put my people down, trust me, they will never fly. Give up on your life. And trust me, I will never cry. I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream. My man, Dr. Rolla, he had a dream. Now, everyone do me a favor. Repeat after me. If it isn't me, it is up to me. A little bit louder. If it is to be, it is up to me. It's up to me. You can do better than that. If it is to be, it is up to me.
It is up to me.
Thank you.
Let's give him another round of applause. All of the students from Richard Wright Public Charter School. You know, Washington Informer has adopted that school, and they are a school of media arts, which includes journalism. Earlier, Mr. Mayor, we gave Prince George's County some time, and so it's only fitting that we give you some time too. Prince George's County, they just happen to be here, you know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway, I'd like to bring Mayor Vincent Gray to the stage, please. Just give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much and good evening. I would say it's great to be able to follow Prince George's County, but I think we all know, I've told Sharon Baker that it's great for them to be Ward 9 of the District of Columbia. We're going to officially at it some point. We're here tonight. I'm sure you've already heard a lot of speeches, so I'm going to be very brief, but I want to congratulate the Informer on 50 years of outstanding service to the District of Columbia. You know, we get the paper is delivered to the Wilson Building every week. And isn't it an outstanding paper, ladies and gentlemen? Well, maybe you cannot read it from cover to cover. And there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of information in the Washington Informer. And so I want to thank Denise. I want to thank all the staff at the Informer. And of course, we all want to pay tribute to the late Calvin Rollard, who had such a tremendous role bringing the Informer to life and continuing it all these years and turning it over to his very able daughter, who's done such an incredible job. How about a big hand for Denise and the job that she's done as the publisher of the Informer? That was really polite, you all. Come on, you can do better than that. Come on, give it up for Denise. Thank you all very much and enjoy the rest of the evening in the Carnegie Library. How many people went to this library when it was a library? How many people don't want to admit it because they're afraid of showing what their age is? Yes, I went to this library when it was a library. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program for tonight, but we don't want you to leave empty-handed. We have some gift bags for everybody. If you will go to, there's a room on the way to the photo exhibit. There's a photo booth if you want to take some commemorative photos, and there's some gift bags for everybody. So, good night, drive safely, and go get your gift bag. Thank you.
Okay, brother. Have a good one. I see you got yours.